Shalom. Um, I had looked up, I guess you know my family name, the estate name, and of course you know it by now. I say it all the time. Pooler, and then Anthony. And I came across some information. For the sake of time, I would like for you, if you're interested, to look up, do your own research. But I'm gonna just share a little information to see how it's tied together. I came across this article. It's called Omohundro Institute of Early American History and Culture. Slave Names and Naming in Barbados, 1650 to 1830. Authors Jerome S. Handler and Joanne Jacoby. Source: The William and Mary Quarterly, 3rd Series, Volume 53, Number 4, October 1996. pp. Pages 685 through 728. Published by Omohundro Institute of Early American History and Culture. Then I came. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this quick. Let's come across. It says baptized slave names coordinating plantations, April 6, 1741. Some of these names say Men, Joseph, Kufi, Alexander, Sandy, Samson, Swan, John, Jack, Christopher. I would really need you to go ahead and get this article because it's I'm around out of time. It had boys' names: Thomas, Tuma, Anthony, Tung, John, Mufongo, Anthony, Wilby, Balkas, Daniel, Kako, Jono, Ishu, Abraham, Dewey. A lot of these names, basically, I'm going to break it down. They were saying that a lot of these names that they named slave were not even plantation owners' names. These were the names that the grandparents or the mother gave the child. And then it was ranked accordingly in such a way that it can maintain the heritage and also the culture of where that child came from. So look that up, see if you come to the same conclusion. But that's what I got out of it. And then when I got out of that was that the name of Anthony is linked back to the Celts, the Celts. And when I first looked at it, I said, well, man, Celts, that's a European name. So I was thinking about today's modern day Europeans. But then if you realize, like African Americans, all of the colonial names and naming and all the colonizations, and don't get mad at me, I'm just looking up information and sharing information. This is not against anybody. Don't be offended. Do the research yourself. Most of the colonizations and everything like that, the everything that has to do with modern day happened about the 1600s. That's where the term African American and all these things, or Negro and all these things came from, as far as a color pertaining to a people. Then I came across an article, look it up yourself. It says African roots of the Celtish tribes, Black Celts, Black Britons. And then I came across an article that says the Celts are Israelites under another name. And then let's break that down real quick. It says the word Celt is the anglicized form of the Greek word Kelto, which means the people who are different. In scriptures, all nations except the 12 tribes of Israel are referred to Gentiles, foreigners. So the only people who are different are Israel. The word Celt is therefore another word for Israelite. Then if you go look up the word Israelite in the Etymology Dictionary, it tells you about who the Israelites are. And then the word Celt is therefore another word for Israelite. The Celts are part of the 10 lost tribes of Israel, as are the Tuta, the Danon, and the Milesians. The Irish people are a mixture of Celts, Danans, Milesians, Judah, Zarites of the Red Hand. That's what they're saying. Genesis 38, 28 through 30. Danish, Vikings, and Norsemen are also racially cousins. Okay, you look that up. The article is the Celts are Israelites under another name. Let's see. All right, let's see. Then I came across an article that says the Celts are Israelites. Ancient people of the West called themselves Hebrews. 9/28/2014, L. Sullivan, 5774. Ancient Israelites called themselves Hebrews. Let's see. I'm just trying to go through this real fast. The Celts and the term Eberi mean Hebrew. Okay, then I'm going to get to the name Pooler. Pooler is another Celt name. It breaks it down. This is, and then you must understand. You can even go back to the Babylonian, from Babylon to Timbuktu, Ebos, Hebrew exiles from Israel, different books like that, and it tells you about ancient Brits, and different ones were actually what they call black people. And once again, a lot of times the Caucasians are the what they the name they call them today, Europeans, were not the Europeans of ancient. Right here it says the Anglo-Saxon name Pooler comes from when the family resided near a pool of water. The name Pooler belongs to a classic topographic surname which were given to people who resided near physical features such as hills, streams, churches, or types of trees. And then it says early origins of the Pooler family. The surname Pooler was the first found in Dorset at Poole, now a large coastal town and seaport. Poole is a large tourist resort looking back as early as the Iron Age. This coastal town was a major fishing port. The Romans landed at Poole during their conquest at Britain in the 1st century. Then you can also look back to the early times, the ancient times, even the Romans. Look at the Babylon to Timbuktu, Ebos to Hebrews, different books like that. It'll tell you about the Moors and the early Roman times, and these were actually also so-called black people. So them not the same Romans that we see today. It says years later the Vikings in 876 landed. Guthrum sailed his fleet through the harbor to attack Warham, and in later 1015 Canute began his conquest of England, here using it as a base to raid and pillage Wessex. Centuries later, in the 16th century, Poole would become a major commercial center for the North American colonies, including the vast fisheries of Newfoundland. Accordingly, many Newfoundlanders trace their lineages through Poole or nearby communities. Another branch was founded in Ewelham of Oxfordshire at ancient times. So this article about slave names and naming in Barbados, the slaves there who were also Israelites named their children after regions or customs of where they came from. Before I guess and said many did not even come from anywhere but the Americans, but they just named their children where they the origins of where of their past and things like that. So look that up. It was kind of interesting. So like I said, I would have to go more in depth into it. But that's just a quick overview, and you know, man, history is very interesting. You know, a lot of things is not what we thought. Okay, shalom.